Hello? Hello? Can anyone hear me? Am I live? Is this working? Is this thing on? Yes, I've got audio. Can you hear me? Is it staticky? That's all I need to know is if I've got clear audio here. It's all I need to know there. Can you guys hear me okay? No static. Woohoo! Yay! Fixed my audio. All it took was a new camera. Who knew? Right on. Thanks. Thanks, Naomi. Thanks for letting me know. So I'll wait for some people. Could you give me the link? Could you send me the link, or I'll open my email? You can send me the link and I can share it out and tag people or whatever. Oh crap. That's the wrong button. All right. That's what I'm trying to sign into is my email. Yeah, there it is. That way I can share it out and tag some people in it while I'm sitting here. I have to let my email load there for a second. I don't know why I can't grab a link for it from my end. That's weird. It's because I'm in my studio. All right, thanks. I'm still loading it. I don't see ya. Hello. Yes, good evening, Jeff Brock. Talking all things Friday the 13th. We're gonna do this. The reason I'm late starting, I'm punctual, but I will say that I did 2 full loads of laundry today, and yesterday I put a computer desk together and we rearranged a bunch of stuff here. So I was pretty laggy tonight. Started my stream, but I got everything set up, cam set up, everything's ready to go. We're ready to talk some Jason here. Here we go. No, I don't. Naomi, I don't have an email from you. No email from you with my link. Oh, no. Oh, there it is. Okay, never mind. Copy link address. Hold on here just 1 second, guys. Let me get this link out here and share it for everybody so everybody can get in on this little shindig here. All right. There we go. I did not expect it was going to be this difficult to paste a link, but dang it. There we go. Bam. Bam. Yes, it's all I can. I guess. No, that's all right. Hold on. Just give me 1 second here, guys. The technical side of streaming here. Trying to figure out how to get the link out to everybody is what I'm going to do here. Collectors. Oops. Okay. understand why it's not in my shortcuts, but okay, search. Maybe that's why? No? Okay. Hold on 1 second. I'm pasting a link here. There we go. There we go. Now my link's out there. All right. Everybody still here? All right. Okay. So how is everybody doing tonight? Now that I got everything accomplished here. Got a new setup in the game room here. Got a new... Can hear me. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I don't want to start before everybody gets here. Kind of just give it a few minutes here. Drink my coffee. Heck, I might go get another cup. I don't know. I mean, I would always get it started and everybody can just catch up from the replay, I believe is where we're going to go. All right. So, of course, if we're going to talk Friday the 13th, we got to start at the very, 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 very beginning. All right. Later, thanks for giving me the link so I can share it out for everybody here. So, like I said, get some rest here. Like I said, we got to start at the very beginning when it comes to Friday the 13th. So obviously, Friday the 13th, the original Friday the 13th, is where we got to start here. And it's kind of ironic. We guess when I bring it all back around, the irony will be stunning. But so first, it begins with. And I'm going to talk about this. I got a book about Wes Craven, and I'm going to talk about it on my channel at some point. But right now, I learned some about this case, this mysterious case of Jason's legal purgatory, from Wes Craven in his situation. See, from the very first Nightmare on Elm Street, and this is a side tangent, but from the first Nightmare on Elm Street to the new Nightmare, well, actually, he got paid for the first one, but everything thereafter, Wes Craven pretty much signed his rights over to. Now, Craven's estate now owns the Nightmare on Elm Street properties and whatnot, but this is what brought this whole thing about, was this Friday the 13th situation. So again, it all ties into everything going on right now in the world of movies. I'm going to say before we get started that a lot of it's we got the ability of hindsight now. Like we got to think this was in the early 80s. Big budget movies weren't a thing yet. So like whenever we're talking about this now currently, it's all in the context of I'm playing Monday morning quarterback here and saying, well, if I was General Lee, I would have done this at Gettysburg, basically, or whatever. You know, it's me speculating and saying, well, maybe we should have made this choice or that choice, but that didn't get made, and we are where we are. So with all that being said and out of the way, Friday the 13th, Sean Cunningham, when he made a movie with Wes Craven called Last House on the Left, it was basically funded by an independent group of investors out east, and that Sean knew. And it took a early morning or late night, early morning phone call at the last minute just to get the funds to shoot. So like in the context of that, again, they didn't have big budgets back then. They didn't get handed $100 million or $200 million to make a movie. So, like, you had to do what you had to do. It was the point with the Wes Craven thing, and the point with the Sean Cunningham thing, is that these guys were at the mercy of whoever that was funding their movie, basically, their investors. And so, again, it's, I guess, somewhat normal now for that. But the point is, back then, nobody had done this before. It was just anybody with a camera could do this. So with that context out of the way, what it comes down to is Sean Cunningham, again, wanting to make a capitalize on at the time, at the early 80s, late 79, early 80s. Halloween was a big thing. John Carpenter's Halloween. So Sean was trying to capitalize on that. And now here's something I have to correct already right off the bat. I've seen it put out there on the internet that the original script, the title of Friday the 13th was A Long Night at Camp Blood. Well, it's half true. A Long Night at Camp Blood was actually Victor Miller's script that he wrote. Sean turned it into Friday the 13th to capitalize on the whole Halloween title. So we're just naming movies after holidays now at this point. So there's that. And then the Friday the 13th originally, the original movie was a whodunit. And of course, everybody knows spoilers. Spoiler for anybody who hasn't watched it. The killer was Jason's mother. Because Jason was bullied and thrown into the lake and drowned and so forth. So Jason wasn't even the killer in the first one. We got to keep that in mind. And second of all, we are introduced to Jason at the end of Friday the 13th. The little boy that comes out of the lake at the end. Now, I've heard Sean say in interviews and stuff, and that the ending was supposed to be like a dreamscape kind of thing. It wasn't real. It was just she was having a psychological breakdown, and she imagined the boy comes out of the lake and grabs her, and they ask her at the end, she asked about the boy at the end, and no, there was no boy there. And oh, well, he's still there then. And so, and indeed he was, as we found out. Now, in the second one, this leads to the second one. I'll have to talk about this real quick. The second Jason, the Friday the 13th, they made Jason actually the killer. Now, the thing is, when they came to Sean, because the first one was so popular, of course, Paramount was, we're ready to pump out the second one already. So when Steve Miner, he still directs movies too, I believe Steve does. Steve Miner came in and came in for the story for the second one, and the main protagonist, his mother, was already dead. So what else are we going to do? Well, we've already laid the groundwork for Jason in the first one. So that's how Jason technically came to be. We were introduced to him at the end of the first movie. And it was sort of a collaborative thing, is what I'm trying to get at here, is that ultimately it was a collaborative effort, I believe, to bring Jason fully into what we know him as. So I guess when you're asking me as a fan, like, where do you stand? It's like, well, I don't really think anybody has sole proprietorship over Jason as a character. I think it was back then with the low budget horror movies, everything was collaborative. You didn't have the big giant teams. You had about 10 people in a room making a movie. I mean, that's what it was. Or, you had some writers and you had cast members or whatever. But you didn't have these big budgets. You didn't have all this extra stuff that we got now. So we're trying to superimpose what movies are now onto what movies were back then. In general, I'm speaking generally with I've heard other channels talk about this thing here, and I never hear any of this stuff get mentioned. I never hear any of this get brought up. I never hear the thing about Wes Craven not getting paid brought up until he brought it up in his own interviews and stuff like that nobody cared. When it was Wes Craven we were still getting nightmare movies, So I think that has a lot to do. It plays into it a lot. I don't think people, again, it's Monday morning quarterbacking. We're all looking back and saying, well, we could have done this differently. Maybe Sean should have done that differently. But it wasn't, and it is what it is. It's ironic that Sean Cunningham is probably the only person who can free Jason at this point. That'll come up later, Jeff. Yes, part 3 in The Mask. Shelley with the hockey mask. Larry Zerner, aka Larry Zerner. Now, every time I see a fire on YouTube with this whole Jason I think by the time that this whole in the process with the Friday the 13th thing gets done, Hollywood's going to look a whole lot different than it did when this movie was made. I think we're missing the boat here on this one. Yeah, Mike. Hey, welcome to the stream, by the way, Mike the Car Dude. Glad to have you here, brother. Yeah, the thing about it is when they came to Sean, I'll explain that. And maybe I didn't quite explain that very well. When they came to Sean Cunningham with making the second movie, he's like, "Well, I killed his mother off. That was who the killer was. Jason was a dream, according to Sean, which I can't." Again, I'm going to play my Monday morning quarterback and say, "Well, if I was Sean, I would have seen the potential right there. Well, we can just because it was open ended." It was like when the boy came out of the lake, he didn't know it was real. He didn't know it wasn't real. So, like, it was open ended. You could have easily just, okay, we'll run with Jason and we'll make him an adult. And, I can see where Steve Miner was thinking on that one. So, because that's the only place they could go with it after the first one. Because, like I said, he tied everything up by the end of it, except for the Jason thing. I mean, that was the only option you had left at that point with it. So, I can see how it got to where it got. I can see why Sean might have been a little bit trepidatious on making a sequel to it because, like he said, he killed, his mother off. So, who do we have as a bad guy? And Jason's a dream. And I can't get over the fact that he was stuck on the Jason part being a dream. But maybe when he was shooting it in his head, that's how it, made sense to him or whatever. So, there's that to consider. A lot of things go into it that a lot of people don't talk about. And like I said, the Sean calling up at, 0 hour to get the funding for it. And he almost didn't get the funding for it. Like that kind of right there sets it home to me. How close we came not to getting Friday the 13th. And of course, the title was all marketing. It was 100% marketing. And it was brilliant marketing, I would say. But over time, this wasn't protected, I don't think, properly. The intellectual property of it, the aspect of it, I guess. And that's where Larry Zerner and Shelley in Part 3 comes in, is the whole, he's a copyright attorney in that. And but every time I see a fire get started about this, Larry Zerner, his name is at the bottom of it. So there's that to consider. He is a lawyer. He does have a business, so he has a vested interest in people coming to him for the information. And I'm just trying to put all the information out there so people can have access to it, because you go on some random guy's YouTube channel and see, so-and-so talking about Larry Zerner and promoting his Twitter, and you're not getting the other side of the story. He's giving you the copyright legal side. I'm giving you more the history side of it. And, and this information's all out there. You guys can find this. This information's out there, easily findable. Yeah, I will say Sean Cunningham, Mike. Sean, I can't be mad at what he's done. Like a lot of people, there's a lot of people that Sean is a controversial figure with. I've alluded before, there was a bit of friction between himself and Adam over Jason Goes to Hell, which you guys got right there in front of you. And I can see Adam's point with it. Like, all these guys want is to get paid for what they did. This series made a whole bunch of money, and I can't blame any of the guys for wanting to get paid on it. If I worked hard on this stuff too, I'd probably want to get paid for it too. So, the business side of it, there's that. But at the same time, I kind of feel like in the mix, the kind of fans get lost with it. And, that's what I'm kind of trying to hear, is to remind the people that, hey, they're still fans. And, the longer this goes on, it's just gonna sour people to it, And maybe it's such a thing as that Jason's ran its course, and the Friday the 13th series has ran its course. And that's cool too. We should at least remember it and celebrate it. Be appreciative that we ever got it. I just don't see a lot of that going on when I see this subject brought up. We were so close to not getting it that we should be thankful that we ever got it in the first place, and just enjoy it. Every Friday the 13th, I got the box set on DVD, and I'll throw them on and I'll watch them. And I got the commentary with them, and I got the commentary with Sean Cunningham on that. That's where I get a lot of my information from, is I'll watch interviews with these guys. And I actually I talked to Sean personally on a personal level, and I keep in touch with him just as a friend outside of being a Friday the 13th fan or a movie buff. Sean was a lot of the reason I'm doing what I'm doing now in the first place. So, I mean, he's inspired a lot of things, I guess. And it's a shame that he gets thrown under the bus a lot, I think, by a lot of people that have interest into throwing him under the bus. And that's just my opinion on that situation with it. But again, I'll go back to it. It's Sean can end it. He's the one that ultimately, the guy that introduced us to Jason is the guy that can free him. And I'm just here down either way, regardless of what happens, whether we get Jason back or not. I'm here to remind everybody that, we should enjoy it. It was a hell of a ride back. Being a kid in the 80s was different. I remember Jason Goes to Hell when that movie came out. I was 10 years old. The movie came out in the theaters when it was my 10th birthday. So like growing up, I can't imagine growing up without a Friday the 13th, and Freddy Krueger and all that, and the Michael Myers. So like that's where I'm at with it. It's just sort of me looking back at it and saying, wow, we were really spoiled with our movies back then. And again, a lot of people still go on the internet and complain about like Jason Goes to Hell. Oh, and it's barely got Jason in it, and this and that and the other. And it's like, man, you can't make the same movie over and over again. It gets boring. So like saying it's different isn't really a knock against it for me. But again, your mileage will vary. Some of you guys, like, I got your certain. What's your guys' favorite Jason movie? Put that in the chat for me. What's your guys' favorite movie of the series? I guess I'd ask that one, but and again, opinions vary on that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because without Sean and then technically without Wes Craven, we wouldn't have Freddy, we wouldn't have Jason, we wouldn't have none of this stuff. And I don't know. I don't feel due diligence gets paid to that a lot. That's kind of where I feel with the whole thing. So. I know that, the Jason X, that was, I was actually upset by Jason X simply because the fact I was waiting on Freddy versus Jason. Instead, I got Jason X, and that kind of put me off on it, because we waited forever. If you watch the end of Jason Goes to Hell, you got the Freddy glove comes up and grabs the mask, and they basically tease Freddy versus Jason. So I was super stoked, and I'm waiting, and like 10 years later, we get Jason X, but we get no Freddy versus Jason. So that was a frustration for me with it. There's been ups and downs with the series for me over the years, but I think I'd have to say one of my favorite ones was Part 6. Jason Lives. I thought that one was a pretty good one. It had a perfect mix of the comedy and the horror both. And so I was a real fan of that. The Tommy Jarvis saga, I kind of thought that was interesting. And then I got a soft spot for Jason Goes to Hell, Jason Goes to Hell and Jason Takes Manhattan. I would watch any of them anytime. I don't really have a particular favorite. I just I like watching the series and where it fits into everything. But we need it back. And I know that Sean himself, Sean Cunningham, I know he's going to end up watching this at some point. So, I would tell him that it's pretty much in his hands from here. I really can't free Jason myself, but I can try to facilitate it, and I can hope for the best. And like I said, by the time it actually happens, if it does, I wonder where Hollywood's going to be as a whole at that time. I'm not really sure where that'll be, if it'll be the same as it is now, or, what it was back then. So there's a lot to unpack with the series. There really is. Yeah, there's, excuse me, Mike, there's only one Freddy, and that's Robert Englund. Brilliant when it came to acting. I've told last stream, so you probably couldn't hear it, but how Robert Englund got into acting is he was chasing the pretty girls into acting class, and that's what got him in. So I thought that was kind of a cool story with Robert on how that whole thing happened. But now I'm getting off topic and rambling on about movies that I'm not even supposed to be talking about. But yeah, that's as far as Robert Englund goes. Like, class act all the way. A Hollywood monster. I reviewed his book on here. I've got a signed copy of his book, and I learned a lot reading about that book. I learned a lot about Robert Englund, about movies in general. Like, it's a lexicon, a who's who of movies in that book. So Hollywood Monster, if you can find a copy of it, it's worth the read. Like, don't waste your money with acting classes. Just buy that book, and I think you'd be good to go. I think you'd be all right. Anyway, so back to the point. Friday the 13th, we need to free Jason. We need the big, ugly SOB to come back. And Sean's the only guy that can make that happen. Sean Cunningham is the absolute only guy that can actually make that a thing. And so I would call upon him to do so. It's, I guess, the point of my stream. And every Friday, I will go into the series and any news that we have that comes up along the way, as far as like anything Friday the 13th related. I know that Sean Cunningham and Horror Inc., which is his production company, I guess, or his company at this point, I know he's been working on something. I don't know what. He won't tell me. But he's been locked away in the lab working, so I'm interested to see what he's been working on. But I will shout him out because, like I said, he'll probably hear this video. It's not a secret. I'm just here to talk to the fans about it and let Sean know that there's still fans out there, and we want Jason back. That's really all we want here. It's not like we're asking for the moon and the stars. We just want a darn Jason movie. Yep. Get you later, Mike. Thanks for hanging out, brother. Thanks for your input. So free Jason. We need the big ugly sucker back, and we need a new Jason movie. Just I would put a stipulation that LeBron James doesn't get to do anything with this. Like, no LeBron James involved in my Jason movie. Now, I know that there are several people who have written scripts for a new Jason movie. The guy who directed Part 6, actually, I heard he had a script for it, and it would be nice. But again, we have to get through the legality of it. I think they're going to end up renegotiating between him and the like Warner Brothers and Paramount and them. I think they'll probably end up renegotiating this thing here. Yeah, I couldn't do the remake, guys. I've got a copy of the remake. I bought it as a joke. I literally bought the remake of Friday or Nightmare on Elm Street as a joke. This is like $1 thing in the dollar bin or whatever. Yeah, it's not really Jackie's fault. It was just like the makeup was horrible. The CG wasn't very good. Like, I like Jackie Earle Haley as an actor. I loved him, and she's been in several other movies. I've watched. He's been in other movies I've watched, and I've loved him as an actor. But excuse me, guys. His portrayal of Freddy was doomed from the start. I'm afraid it was doomed from the start, and you're already running up against a brick wall when you're trying to out Freddy Robert Englund. You're already, it's like trying to out quarterback Tom Brady or out basketball Michael Jordan. You're running up against a brick wall immediately. So anyway, I'm off topic. Now you guys can get me talking about horror movies, and I'm going to go into obscure stuff that has nothing to do with my topic at hand here. But everybody hit up with it. Hashtag free Jason in the chat. We need to make this a thing, make this a weekly thing that I do. I sit down and I'll talk about all things Friday the 13th every Friday after evening, even though this evening I kind of slept in a little bit. But normally I want to be punctual at 7 p.m. on the dot. And any updates I have for you guys or anything that I have to do, I can do at that point, or talk about at that point. Like I said, at some point I'll talk about Larry Zerner and his whole angle on it. He's got the more legalese end of things. He's the lawyer. He's the attorney. So there's that. I don't cover that as much because he does it, and B, I think it's more than just legality. I think it's a fight of ownership, really, at the end of the day. Yeah, the tone of yeah. Man, I'm gonna have to do a full-fledged review of the remake at some point. I know I'm not the only person to do that, but ooh, it was bad. Like, it was bad. So anyway, every Friday, I'll with any updates or news I'll have, that'll be my day for it, and then I'll run my normal channel. Now I know that, like I said, I'll be talking about the Wes Craven book, so we'll get more into it when I talk about that. No, I'm not there yet to talk about that, but I learned a lot reading that Wes Craven book I have. Wes Craven and Sean were actually friends, and they knew each other, and they worked on stuff together. And Wes dealt with this with Robert Shea of New Line Cinema over the Nightmare on Elm Street rights, and that got worked out. That was the same situation that we're going through with Friday the 13th, and that got worked out. And as I said, he's got the rights to it back now, or his family's estate does, rather. Rest in peace, Wes Craven. So yeah, I mean, this is not the impossible mountain that everybody's trying to make the molehill into. It can be fixed. It can. It's been fixed before. You got to set people down, get them in a room, get them talking to each other, and one thing will lead to another. But Sean's the linchpin of it right now. He's the guy that can make it happen. Like I said, all I'm trying to do is facilitate it and keep people informed about it, and let people know that things are being worked on. So I guess that's where we're at right now. As of right now, again, I don't know that I'm not allowed to speak or divulge certain details or stuff like that as to court proceedings or anything like that. But I can sure keep anybody updated with anything I hear about it. So, I just speak what I know about the situation, and that's pretty much what I've done here tonight. So, it all goes back to Sean. It all goes back to Sean Cunningham. It's ironic that the guy who introduced us to him ultimately could be the one that Jason either lives or dies based on Sean. What happens with Sean, and that's, I guess, poetic, in a way to me. I look at that as kind of sweet, poetic justice, I guess, in a way. But I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that we get Jason back, and I hope it happens soon. So I'm with you guys on that. So if you guys have any further questions here, has anybody got any further questions for Sean or anybody in this situation? Why it got to it? I guess the thing is, the Writers Guild or union or whatever, after 35 years, the rights convert back over to the writers, and that's what the fights started over. And that fight's turned into an argument with the Paramount and a whole bunch of other people, and that's where we're at right now. I don't see the fight with Paramount and like Warner Brothers and stuff going a real long ways, simply due to the current ongoing situation with the COVID and stuff. I really don't see that fight lasting long. That's just my take on it. Other people might disagree with me, and that's fine, but that's my take on that. This isn't going to last long. The current fight going on is not going to be settled in court. It'll get settled out of court. Oh crap! Oh crap, guys, my battery's about to die. I don't know what's going on there. I'll have to check on it here. Trying to figure out why my battery's dying on me here. No? Well, I might have to stop my stream, guys. Oh, yeah, that's why. Okay, did I get it? I was running on a dead battery this whole time. So, did anybody have any comments, questions, thoughts on where we're at with everything right now? Because I pretty much said all I can say about her right at the point, anyway, right now at this point. Just wanted to give a bit of history, clarity to the situation a little bit. We help people understand what the big deal is over this whole process here. So, it's basically a fight over money, and I know it's sad that it's come down to that. Like the thing is like people, there's still a demand for it. Like I would buy a ticket to go see a new Friday the 13th movie. Like this is something I want. So yeah, that's I guess the frustrating part about it is that there's still fans, we still care about it, and but sometimes it's time to move on too. And if that's the case, we'll all do that, and I won't have to make this a weekly thing every week. So either way, I'm cool with it. Shout out to Sean Cunningham and Horror Inc. Productions. I hope everything goes well over there for you guys. Either way, whether we get Jason back or not, that's secondary to people's health and well-being nowadays, I think. So that's just my opinion on it. So this has been fun, just to rant and get this all off my chest. I hope everybody's night's going well tonight. I'll be back to ripping cards probably on Sunday. Probably going to take Saturday off because I did a bunch of stuff this week. And we'll reset, and hopefully I'll hear something by next Friday, and I'll have something to update you guys with. So with all that said, guys, I've been going about 38 minutes here. I can sit here up here and talk all night if you guys want me to. But I just wanted to make an inaugural episode here and lay some groundwork for future episodes here. So, hashtag free Jason. Give me some hashtags out there. Keep it going. Bring Jason back for the next generation of kids to grow up watching. Camp counselors getting murdered. I don't know if that's okay for me to say on YouTube or not, but I did. So, well, I think I'm gonna call it a night, guys. Like I said, I just want to lay the groundwork here, and I'll be back next Friday with another live stream for Free Jason Friday, and like I said, hopefully I'll be having some updates for you guys here soon. So with that said, I hope the rest of everybody's weekend goes well, and go watch some Friday the 13th, guys. Go enjoy it. Enjoy and appreciate the things that you have in life, I guess, and that's where I'm at. It's just to look backwards at it and say, wow, we came from there to here. So yeah, definitely go check out some Friday the 13th, and thanks for everybody for stopping by tonight. I really, really appreciate it. And like I said, every Friday evening at 7 p.m. I'm gonna make this a regular thing, so that way we can all stay up to date with everything that's going on, and it's just something for me to do, basically at this point. I'm looking for stuff to do at this point in my life. So anyway, I hope everybody has a good night, and don't forget to love your hobby, and it will love you back. Peace. Bam. Yeah, there we go. In stream.